To me, life is positive.
Family.
Love.
Good.
Boundless.
Exciting.
Happiness.
Uncontrollable.
Perseverance.
Humorous.
Happiness.
Fun. Happy. Happy. I gave you a night too.
Can you tell me what your favorite thing to do is? Peekaboo.
Bye.
Tell me what you like to do.
Play mountain and pet kitties. I'm Joseph and I'm 6. I play Legos.
I'm Kendall. I'm in 6th grade and I'm 11 and I like to play video games.
So I am Sophie Lafayette. My personality overall is very loud. I'm very honest. I say what's on my mind. I will be sarcastic or funny, and I will be very blatant.
I'm Connor Bechtold, obviously. I'm a senior at Fossil Ridge High School in Fort Collins, Colorado. Things I like to do for fun, I guess. I like to, when I have time, I'm not dressed for school, I like to work out. I like to shoot guns, swim, whatever, pretty much anything outdoors, hiking, climbing, whatever.
My name's Topanga McBride. I am a freshman at Kansas State University with a double major in agricultural communications and animal science. I enjoy photography, special effects makeup, dairy cattle, things like that.
My name's Ethan D. I'm 20 years old. I'm a video production specialist. And I would say that if I had to group my personality into one word or one sentence, it would be a strong work ethic.
I'm Deana Coaches. I am 28 and I'm a teacher. Whenever you blow out a candle or when you see a shooting star and you see it and you're supposed to make a wish, my wish has always been that I will always be happy throughout my life. And so I think with every decision I make, I always am constantly thinking will this make me happy? Will this make me a better person?
Okay, so my name's Rob Lewis. I am a technology teacher at Kennard Middle School. I'm also the head basketball coach at Kennard, boys basketball coach at Kennard Middle School, 35 years old. I don't know, I try to just enjoy life. I love being a teacher, and that's about it.
Hi, my name is Beth. I'm 50 years old, and I have 2 jobs. I work for an elementary school as a secretary and a health tech. And I also am co-owner of a landscape company where I design and plant and maintain flowers for commercial businesses. I have a 25-year-old son. He's married and he lives in Denver. And I have a 23-year-old daughter and she lives in San Francisco.
Hi, I'm Ethan Gannett. I'm work at Hewlett Packard. I'm 54 years old. I'm a director of engineering at HP. I have a huge lab around the world that supports folks who do firmware and hardware servers, and we deliver those products across the world for HP. I have a family of a wife and 2 kids, a daughter and a son, and originally from Iowa.
My name is Tracey and I am 50 years old. People are pretty much the same, friendlier here than they are back in England, but no, it's been a good experience being here, so not a big change. Yes, the next big thing for myself and my husband will be retirement and enjoying our children and our grandchildren, their children. My kids are older. My youngest one's now just in middle school. So I've got more time on my hands and maybe it's time for me to go back to work.
My name is Stanley. I'm 94 years old. I was born in May the 7th, 1920 in Pueblo, Colorado. My father was a Mexican from Mexico who came over in the United States to work in the beet fields of Colorado during the Post-World War. Later on, he died when I was 8. So I had to help my mother finish a contract that they were working on. It was way back during the Depression time, the hard times. So that I had been in the war during the Second World War. Because we had to protect our way of life. And anytime anybody attacks you, you got to defend yourself, protect yourself. And that's what we did.
I I didn't know what I wanted to be. I was good at school and just decided that I wanted to stay in school as long as I could. So when I went to school, not many people actually went on to university, particularly in England. The government at the time basically paid all fees. So I had that option to go on to university, so I did that. But I thought I'll do a good degree that will perhaps open doors for me. So I did a law degree and enjoyed it and ended up being a solicitor, a lawyer.
My last job in construction, I had worked up in the mountains on a tunnel job, water tunnel job. We were working 16 hours a day. We didn't see daylight. We come go in dark and come out dark, 16 hours a day. So I went to work at the college for $274 a month. Then at the college, I worked 20 and a half years. I worked at the old South College gym up here on College Avenue. They call it the old field house. For 8 years as a custodian. Then during that time that I was working there, about the sixth year, a student come down and asked me if I wanted to join the Human Relations Committee. So I did. I got on the committee.
When I grow up, I want to be a writer because I like to enjoy writing and just fantasy stories and stuff.
I want to go into the medical field, I think. But the one goal I really have in life is I want to help people. And hopefully it's for medicine, because that's so far what I found I've liked. And hopefully I can use that to help people and make a difference.
So when I was little, I was really big into playing hockey. Played hockey for 10 years of my life. So of course, I had the dream of, I want to be in the NHL. But then come sixth grade, I got my first video camera. And so I just kind of started realizing that, I have a lot of fun just being behind the camera and creating stories. I'm employed by the Budweiser Event Center. I'm a technical director there. I'm employed by Poudre School District. I'm a video production assistant there. I'm employed by Rhino Staging, where I'm a cinematographer. And I also actually own my own film production company.
I am a technology teacher. I know for a fact when it comes to teaching, I know that no matter what level I teach at, the students aren't going to remember what I taught them specifically. They may be like, oh yeah, I remember I did something like that in Mr. Lewis's class. They may not remember, well, he taught us how to do this, this, and this. But they will remember the relationships I had with them, and that's more, that lasts a lifetime, which is way longer than remember, oh, this teacher taught me this, this, and this.
When I was little, I thought I was going to be a chemist, or an astronaut, or a teacher, or a farmer, or a politician or president, or a dancer, or a singer, which turns out I can't sing, and was in no way going to work in agriculture or communications.
I'm a director of engineering at HP. The only professions I knew were musicians and the person who came and delivered mail at the door, the post lady or the postman. And so I thought, okay, there's two options I have here. So I want to either be a musician or a postman. And I can remember my dad saying, don't become a musician. It doesn't pay very well. So I thought, oh, postman, I guess.
Health. As you get older, health is the biggest fear. We had a few health scares in the past year that really sort of bring home to you the fact that we don't appreciate when we're healthy. So just to remain healthy and not to get sick. So yeah, that's the big fear.
Loud noises.
My biggest fear in life, so nothing bad has ever happened in my life. I'm talking about the worst thing, the most problem I've ever had to deal with is too much homework and too much stress, which, do not get me wrong, that's been a lot. It has sucked at times, but that's my biggest problem. I've had an amazing life. And then for my biggest fear is that when something eventually does happen to me, that something bad happens to my life, I'm not sure, I have no idea if I'm strong enough to handle it. I've never been able to see how strong I am and how much I can take, and therefore when something bad happens, I don't know if I'll be able to handle it. That's my biggest fear.
I think my biggest fear is probably bees because I just hate bees.
So my fears would probably be not making an impact in people's lives, and otherwise not just making people happy, but it's upsetting, when people aren't happy and I can't really do anything to do it because I feel I need to. Probably not being able to do what I want to in life, more so than anything will probably be letting people down. That's my biggest fear.
Being 18, there's a lot of things I fear. It is terrifying being on your own. Like, I love being on my own, I love being independent, but it's absolutely scary knowing that in the future I'm going to have to do a lot of things on my own, and I'm going to have to start paying for things on my own. So it's kind of scary looking for jobs, or like I have to go get a car. That's scary. I have to eventually, do all these things on my own, and it's terrifying. It's scary getting old. It's weird realizing I'm on that line right now where I'm a kid and I'm not, and soon enough people won't see me as a kid, and that's scary too.
Having sickle cell has affected my life in a positive and a negative way. Some of the negative way is like I've counted it up, and I've been in the hospital over 2 calendar years of my life. That means inpatient. That means like I was in the hospital overnight. Now, it's a lot more if you count all the times I've gone into the hospital for like treatment. Once a month I get what you call a blood exchange, and once a month I get what you call IV fluids and pain medication like Dilaudid through the IV to try to help subside some of my pain. It has also caused like parts of my body to break down. Like for instance, 3 years ago, I was put on administrative leave with pay because of my medical condition. So it turned out I ended up having like 5 back surgeries. I was then diagnosed with narcolepsy. Let's see what else. I had both of my hips are titanium. I had my first hip replacement when I was 23. That was my right hip. Then I had my left hip done, and then I had my left knee replaced with titanium. Some of the ways it affected me is like when you have sickle cell, you don't heal up as well or as fast as a normal person. But overall, it has affected me positively because it has given me a different outlook on life, and giving some of the situations I've been through in life with sickle cell and other life situations, I cherish each moment and I think about life a lot differently.
I would say the most important event in my life so far has been my trip to Cambodia, for sure, no questions asked. That's where I met my girlfriend, actually. And it just allowed me to get out of my comfort zone and get out of Fort Collins and realize, oh, Fort Collins isn't the center of the universe, And it really let me just kind of see everything that I believed and everything that, the people around me believed. It allowed us to just kind of move on from that and just experience the world completely differently. There's no way to describe it because it was just so... It just changed how I think about the world.
1941, when we were attacked by the Japanese, they had the draft on, so they drafted us. So we went, we were drafted, so we went for a physical. And Mike and I failed. I failed the test because I wore glasses in my physical, and Mike because he was too short. Well, later on, we went and volunteered about a month later, and they accepted us.
It looks like this year or next year I will be medical retiring from being a teacher, which means I won't be teaching in the PSC district full time. I have a few job offers out there, but after I have my knee replacement, I'm actually going to take some time off and try to heal up and then kind of figure out what we'll go from there, because after I have my knee replacement, I'll also need to have a few more back surgeries. I know, if anything, I just really want to be healthy. So if I'm not working, I just want to be healthy and around and be able to do like normal things, because like right now, and I guess when I say normal, like right now it hurts to get out of bed. It hurts to walk, it hurts to pretty much do anything. I want some of the pain that I have to subside. However, I know that a lot of it won't, some of it won't be able to subside because of deterioration of my bones. So with deterioration, the bones doesn't really grow back, especially at my age. So I'm just trying to focus on what I can right now to figure out how can I get myself healthy enough so I can reach 45.
Well, being gay, I guess it's, to start out, I obviously had to blend with the crowd. Being here, I really wasn't open, no longer than last year, during February. And so, it has changed, in terms of, family aspect. It doesn't change completely how they look at me, but it's a little different because, like my mom, she said to me when I came out to her that, they have this whole idea, your kid wants to be, when they're born, you have this whole life, plan laid out for them. And so for something to be different and stray from that path like that is probably difficult. But it hasn't changed a whole lot. Everyone's very supportive, friends, majority of family, people that I run to really don't care. Some people don't know how to react. Some people will still say, words, vulgar language, directed toward us, not like to hurt my feelings, but just because they're so used to it. And it's, sometimes they don't know what to say afterwards, like, oh crap, didn't say that. But it hasn't affected a whole lot yet. I mean, it's moderately new, me being out, but nothing's really changed. If anything, it's made me, feel better because I don't have to hide. I don't have to worry about, if I'm talking to someone or whatever, I don't have to hide myself from that, or anyone, that doesn't know. I have no problem telling them.
And I had my big bear's bag and my carbine on my shoulder waiting with a bunch of other soldiers to get on the boat. And during that time, I got the most empty, lonely feeling in the pit of my stomach. And that was the last time I got anything like that. It was terrible for me. I know I had been away from home a lot of times, and there was a lot of the soldiers there had never been away from home. And they had a harder time adjusting. A lot of times we'd wake up in the middle of the night with the airborne had infiltrated our field and taken over the field in their practice. And so one night I woke up with a machine gun pointed at my head. Good thing it was one of our troops.
My mother was very young when she had me. She was 14. My father was 16. I didn't get to meet my real father until I was 14 years old. And let's see, I actually went to court against my mom when I was like 14. So 14 is a special age in my family. At the time I wanted to get to know who my real father was, and he wasn't stepping up to the plate. So the only way I could do it is I had to go to court because my mom didn't want me to go to his house. And I understood why, but as a young man, sometimes you just want to know who your father is. So I went to court against her, so to move in with my father. So if the court made the decision that that's what he has to do, that means he has to take me in too. So it was kind of like a twofold thing. Another reason was, back then I wasn't always the best kid. Well, school came easy. I was always a straight A student. I got into Brown, Yale, Clark, Atlanta. So, I got all these scholarships. But because I figured out at a young age that if your schoolwork's okay, if you got straight A's and stuff like that, usually your parents don't dig deeper. I eventually ended up becoming a gang member, and I'd been shot before coming out of basketball practice. Let's see, what else? When I was 18, I saw my best friend killed right next to me.
Well, I got West Island encephalitis in 2010, and it was a very strange illness in the fact that I was so sick I didn't really know who I was, where I was. I didn't know that I had children. I was told that, I would need to go into a nursing home, have rehab, relearn to speak and eat and walk. And I've come out of it completely well. I don't have any long-lasting effects at all, which isn't what they expected when I was sick. They really did think I would have some long-term problems. And I have come through it really well. It has been 4 years. And I would say for the first 2, I probably dealt with the effects of West Nile almost daily, with just some memory problems and just being tired, needing to sleep, at least 12 hours a night. And but I came through it 100%.
So, and during that time also there in that base, the Germans were flying over and bombing all over England. And we could hear the explosions, sometimes near and sometimes far away. We were not in the part of the invasion on D-Day. So when D-Day come on, the part we were in was taking the troops, the airborne, and flying them over behind enemy lines and dropping them off. And then come back and we're in the gliders and dropping them off over enemy lines. And then we come back and pick up supplies and fly them over and drop supplies to them wherever we could find them. And so that was our job. On D-Day, that's what we did.
When I grow up, I do want to probably get married and have like a kid, because I think it would be a lot of fun to raise someone, like a child.
So overall in life, I definitely want a family and kids. I love kids, but when I'm 30, like my goal in my head, like the number in my head, like 28, it's a great time to have kids, but at 18, I can't really plan for that, but that's my current overall goal.
Now that Alan and I are pregnant and we're due in July, it's funny how different your life goes from being just like a single couple to, oh, this weekend we can just, go to Estes, or maybe we'll plan a trip to Cancun. And until you find out that you're expecting like another little child into your life, you kind of feel like this adult. And for me, I don't have very many friends who are at that situation where they're ready to have kids. They're still living like the single life or like the newlywed life. So Alan and I feel like, wow, we're real adults. Like we're taking that next big leap of faith into life.
Well, as a mom, my greatest fear, of course, would be that anything that happens to our children. I mean, your greatest fear as a mother is always the health of your children, I think.
Probably the biggest event that impacted my life was the birth of my daughter. She was a premature baby, and she came like 6.5 weeks early, and she was really tiny. And that first week, she was pretty sick. She had to be on a respirator, and she ended up blowing out a lung, and we had to go down to Children's Hospital and stay with her. And my wife's water broke too early. My wife couldn't travel down to Denver with me, so I had to go down there and be with my daughter for the first few days. It was hard because you worried that you were going to lose her, and she was so sweet, delicate, and we prayed and we hoped to see that she would be successful with. And she did. She got healthy. She got better. It was a real touch and go there for several days. But that was a big change in my own life.
Do you not like kids?
I like them. I don't have too many.
How many would you have?
Oh, like one.
Like one? A boy or a girl?
A girl.
Kids, hopefully. Obviously, I'm gay, so that doesn't. I'd have to have what are they called? Surrogates, yes. One of those, or adoption. I'd probably do surrogate, to be honest. But kids, hopefully. But I'd probably work on the marriage first before I throw in kids.
You meet a spouse and you marry them, and now it's about you too, right? But it's still kind of about you, right? When you have a child, all that drops off. The most important thing is that.
Obviously, the overall goal is to be happy, but career-wise, my goal is to help start an organization that helps educate mass society about agriculture, just because I don't feel like a lot of people anymore know about agriculture, and agriculture doesn't do a good job of telling people. So, and since nobody's really done anything like that, I'd like to help start that organization. But seeing as that will take some time, the goal is more of to get some jobs after college that will give me the skills to do so, different PR jobs, things like that, and also to network so that eventually I have the right people and right skills to do something like that. Outside of that, I'd like to get married, have kids, have a family, and just enjoy life.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Traveler.
A traveler?
Yeah.
What does a traveler do?
Travel around the world.
Yeah? Where do you want to go?
All kinds of places.
All kinds of places? Like where?
Texas.
In 10 years, I will be 38. I hope to still be teaching here, or if not, then maybe being like an assistant principal somewhere, or at least beginning maybe that new path, because I know I want to teach for quite a while before I go down the principal venue.
10 years. I would say probably still in California. I do want to stay around that area. I like Colorado, I do, but I'm kind of tired of the snow. I want maybe to do something a little bit more somewhere different. Married, if I can, and doing the federal air marshal if I hope to do that. Maybe something more like I mentioned with the Navy, but just a moderately nice home. Like I said, married, and just living the life, I guess, in a terms. Kids, hopefully.
Myself in 10 years, I'll be 28 then. The perfect scenario is that I'm probably like married or in a solid relationship, thinking about starting kids soon. Awesome sentence. I'm out of college and out of medical school, hopefully. I'm feeling stable, I'm feeling solid, I have a goal for what I want to do with my life, and I have a good job that, again, helps people.
My biggest dream would probably be to be able to publish a book.
I'll have a 10-year-old, which is really crazy. I don't know, for all I know, maybe I'll have another a 5-year-old also. I hope that I'll continue to be able to spend a lot of my times on learning and investing my time in the crazy hobbies that I love to do. I hope that I've still been able to travel and teach my kids the joys in the world, such as learning a hobby, because then when you retire you can do these fun things later on in life.
Where would you like to go one day? Well, I really want to go to Paris. Why Paris? Because it looks fun there. Lots of people. And the Eiffel Tower. I know the Eiffel Tower. I've seen it on commercial.
The dream would be to be the director of photography on a TV show. Don't quite know how I'm going to get there, but opportunities have just kind of been piling on one after another. So hopefully, I take the right steps to be doing that stuff. I feel like it'd be so cool to be the guy behind the camera for Breaking Bad.
You see yourself married, in a relationship, with kids?
I do. I've been with my current girlfriend for over 4 years now, and so everything's going well, staying strong, so we plan on keeping that going.
Here's the meaning of life. It's what you do with your life that makes you. Period. It's doing something for someone who passes it on without realizing they're passing it on. So if you do something nice for someone, and later on they do something nice for someone else, and maybe they don't remember that they're doing it because someone showed them kindness, but they're doing it because you helped plant that seed. That's the true meaning of life.
Is it better to be nice or to be mean? Nice. Is it better to be
good or to do what you want?
Be good.
Is it better to have friends or to have things?
Friends.
The people around you are human beings too. They're not they're also living and they also have feelings, and you should respect that.
Well, I guess to be satisfied and not always to be looking for something else is an important thing. That's easier said than done. And also I think to have family, always keep close to family. Friends too, obviously, but family are pretty constant, so yeah.
Well, my meaning in life is to live and respect, with respect. I mean, life is short, so why be respectful of others, help others as much as you can, and respect their wishes.
I believe the meaning of life truly has to do with our spiritual life. God planned for us to be born, and He knows when we're going to die, and what happens in between is up to us. The meaning of our life is to be pleasing to God and to make good choices.
Is it better to feel happy or sad? Is it more important to be nice to people or be mean to people?
Be nice to people.
Is it more important to have stuff or to have friends?
To have friends.
Is it more important to be good or to do what you want?
Do what you want.
I had a bus driver in 6th grade. His name was Bob. He was a big guy. We called him Big Bob. And we would always ask him questions, math questions, science questions, life questions, and he'd always have an answer. And one time we said, "Hey, Big Bob, what is the meaning of life?" And he was at a stoplight and he turned around and he said, just do anything you can to be happy. Anything at all. Just don't get caught.
The meaning of life, to quote one of my all-time favorite movies, Moulin Rouge, but there's this quote in this movie where it says that, in life, the point of life is to be loved and to love others. And so I think that truly is the meaning of life.
Why is it important to be nice to people? We said it was important. Why?
Because if you don't be nice to other people, they won't be nice to you.
And why do you want other people to be nice to you?
Because it's more kinder.
To me, honestly, there isn't any meaning to life. I view the world very, very scientifically, and I see it as we're all just a whole bunch of people on a hunk of rock floating through space, orbiting the sun. And that sounds really dreary and really drastic, but I think it is that opinion of the fact that there is a meaning. We're all here on this planet, we've just developed this society ourselves. That actually is kind of what makes me a positive person. I think because there's no meaning, you should do what you want. And you should do what drives you, what is your passion, all that fun things. And therefore I think that's what drives me to keep pushing myself and do the best I can, because I'm not on this planet for a specific purpose. I'm here really by chance. I just should take that chance and make the most out of it.
Do what you're passionate about. Don't stress on the small stuff. And be happy.
So the meaning of life, I would say, as I'm sure people have before me, happiness and doing what you want in life, and also just, if possible, trying to make a contribution to a bigger purpose in life. Whether that be showing kindness to someone and trying to help them, lead a better life or to have a better day. Just simple things, trying to be more of what the change that we want to see in the world.
For me, I see life as a journey with checkpoints, and that each person's life is determined to be in such a way that there's certain things that will happen. I think that there's different ways that the paths go, and sometimes there's 2 or 3 paths you can take, but there's certain checkpoints that you can't not hit. So if you're supposed to end up being with a certain person or living in a certain place or doing a certain thing, that you can't help but do that. I see life in a very positive light, and that things happen for a reason, and I try to live like that, and I think it helps me when things aren't good and when things are good.
Everybody goes through life in different ways. Some people are parents, some people live a solitary life, some people have many loves, and never find the true love. Some people end up happy as a couple, and some people live a very hard life. You want to be the best person you can be. You want to realize everything you can realize about yourself in the life and the time you've given are part of something so much more, and allows us to live on when we are gone. And that love is nurtured and grows and continues and doesn't die. That's what we're here for.